Hey folks, just before we get started, I wanted to give you all a heads up that my audio is kinda shite in this conversation. It's all my fault. Apparently, in the midst of post-recording banter with Harbo, I did all my Audacity audio editing with a blindfold on. I think I must have hit a reverb instead of a noise reduction or something because I sound like I'm in a large metal bunker. 3, 2, 1, then clap, yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think that's enough of that. Thankfully, Harbo always records a backup of our conversations on OBS. Trouble is, he seems to have his desktop volume at 200% or something because my waves are gigantic compared to his. What you're about to hear is his end of our Discord call with his crisp audio layered over the top. Anyway, enough about that. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a long overdue conversation between myself and Harbo Worms. Welcome back. How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, it's been going great. It's been what, like 7 months or something since the last one of these.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Only because I have got another conversation recorded, but we felt that this one was more pressing and more important. Definitely, it covers the war games. I'm sure I'll get around to doing it eventually, alongside a reaction video to the entire 10-part series. But that's to come. But recently, has there not been an absolute tidal wave of news about the new?
No, I don't think there has actually. Nothing's happened at all. No.
Really? No, no announcements. It's been absolutely
really
quiet. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's address the first thing that I think
The most obvious. Yeah.
Yes, Shuti Gatwa. What a choice! I mean,
yeah. I can't say I'm familiar at all. I've never watched Sex Education, but
well, neither had I, and
right.
I've just finished the first season.
Okay.
He absolutely steals the show,
Right,
like
really?
compared to every other. I personally, compared to every other
Yeah.
performer, he absolutely kills it.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
The thing is, though, it's difficult to kind of try and make perceptions about what he's going to be like in the role as the Doctor, purely based on that, because he plays a 16, 17-year-old,
Right, yeah.
and a very in a very sexual show. It is an 18 for reasons. He is because I was exactly the same as you, had no preconceived notions about him. He's been in barely anything else as well, which is going to be very interesting.
Seen that he's won like loads of awards for like BAFTA, like upcoming actor, and all these different awards and everything. So that's got me hyped alone, seeing that he's already a rising star.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I'd be interested to read more about that, because I don't know if that is based on Sex Education or if it's just for his work in general.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think it is for Sex Education because, as you said, it's like he's not been in a huge amount of stuff, which I kind of like. Everyone was expecting it to be someone that was like more established and everything, but like usually the Doctor isn't someone that's a big name. Like, it's like David Tennant was still relatively fresh and a newcomer when he got cast, and he became one of the most mainstream and popular ones of them all. So, I think Russell T Davies is probably trying to get that and also kind of go for the Matt Smith angle, because it's a younger, I think he's the third youngest actor to play the Doctor now. Like not counting flashbacks where it's a kid or something like that.
No, of course. I mean, I'll take young or old. I don't have a preference. That's whoever seems to fit the role at the time. I've never thought to myself like that I've been super disappointed with a selection pre like
Yeah,
them
exactly.
having a thing. It's always just full of potential, which is
Yeah,
what excites me the
because
most
that's the
about it.
good thing about the character is that it can be so many different types of person.
Mm. Well, his character in Sex Education kind of has this very sort of fluid.
Right.
I don't know. You could say representation, I suppose, because he'll dress up like a normal kid sometimes, and then other times he'll be practically in drag. It's
All right.
like he's definitely got the again. Of course, I can't base it entirely on the character, but I
Mm.
can imagine that if an actor is comfortable doing all of these very shall we say risque things,
Yeah.
he's showing confidence that
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like yeah, I have heard he's like one of like the comedic like hearts of that show.
Oh, he's so
Um,
funny, dude.
so obviously, because that's one of the important things. Like the Doctor, just at the core, has to be funny at least.
Hmm.
Like, because I think every Doctor is funny in their own way. Like even William Hartnell, you know, he has fun little moments, and some of the stuff he did as the first Doctor. There's like comedy there. So I think that's the most important part is you got to be
Mm.
funny, but then not like comedian funny, you know, which is why Richard
Yeah.
Ayoade would have never worked as the
Oh,
Doctor.
that's interesting. Yeah,
Because there was
he was in the pickings, wasn't he?
I don't know. It's one of those things like
Or a fan
Chris
favorite.
Marshall, where everyone always says it should be him. It's like when it shouldn't. It's like it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
no, he doesn't have the other important bits. You know, like the darkness you need because
Oh, yeah.
everyone always points to like Smith being all funny and comedic, but then you see the moments where he's really dark and like outright manipulating companions and stuff, and it's like you got to have that
Yeah,
balance.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
So that was the big headliner.
Yeah, that was the first big
That
news, and we thought that would be
um
it for ages.
yeah, as it always seems to be. But then we had the ultimate duo, Tate and Tennant,
Yep.
coming back
Always
for
rumored, and
yeah,
it's been
yeah.
rumored basically ever since 2010 that every year it's like, oh, they're gonna come back.
Now you're going to have to clear up something for me here
Yep.
because I'm understanding that are they returning for Chibnall's final episode or is it for the Centenary
No,
thing in
so
23?
so I can't tell you the exact plan because that's not been officially confirmed yet, but it has been in a
Right.
leak that has basically been confirmed by other stuff that's now come out. But obviously, I can't tell you that because it's not been officially confirmed. And so, yeah, to preface this, I've basically been keeping in track of all the spoilers and leaks and everything. But you don't because you want to be surprised, which I think is perfectly valid. I don't think anyone should ever like shame someone for that. It's just obviously, yeah, you want to stay like completely in the dark about that, which I
Well,
respect. So
I'm glad that you're able to remember my position, but I was speaking to my wife about
all
this,
right,
and she's like the number one Harry's Moving Media fan,
okay,
and she was kind of saying to me that given that I have like this position as a Doctor Who critic, it would probably be in my best interests to know all of this stuff. So
okay,
I am now going to put my hands on the table and say,
right,
throw it at me. I
okay,
want to hear absolutely everything because
everything,
it's everything.
okay,
I mean that because it's not only going to make for interesting conversation,
yeah,
but it's also the thing is we could just stop right here, couldn't we?
yeah,
If I really wanted to be
yeah,
kept under a rock.
right,
But also, I'm fairly aware that some of my subscribers
yeah,
on Discord were asking about whether I want
yeah.
to know about this stuff or not, and I'm now going to just say, yeah, give it to me,
Okay,
whatever you want.
right. The chains are off
I
then.
need to know. The chains are off. Yeah.
Okay, I
Um,
guess should we give the audience, I guess, like skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid spoilers because it's like some of the stuff here is big. It's big.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
I guess
Well,
maybe
the
you
thing
can.
is, even if this is, so we're talking about things that are going to be that are in the works for 23, right?
Yeah.
Not the Chibnall finale.
No. Chibnall finale, we basically know nothing about apart from the trailer. They haven't even given us a title or anything. It's like a void currently.
It's
in the
always
Doctor Who
been
calendar.
like that with Chibnall, though,
Yeah.
hasn't it? I mean, I appreciate it, but at the same time, when the
There's no hype.
surprise is that, yeah, there's no hype.
Because everyone's
Absolutely.
already talking about the next stuff after it because we already know more about that. So
It's always amazing too that the lowest of low expectations always end up
yeah,
being completely superseded. Because we just before we started recording, we were about to talk about the Sea Devils
yeah,
episode, and because we made videos and just kind of forgot about it
yeah.
because it is just
It happened like 3-4 weeks ago or something. We're already
yeah.
complete. Like it feels like it was a year ago already, and no one talks about it.
It's just been completely
Yeah.
overshadowed by all this very welcome, very good news.
Right. So shall we? Yeah. Shall we get into what's to come then?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go.
Right. I'll start you off with the biggest news. Okay.
Mhm.
Are you absolutely sure?
There's no turning
Okay.
back, dude.
Okay. I'm just going to come out and say it. David Tennant is the next Doctor. 13 regenerates into David Tennant, who, yeah, that's not a joke. That's actually what's going to happen. Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
so a Reddit post from like 3 weeks ago said this. It had this huge detailed leak, and it said like this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and this was before like even David Tennant was confirmed to come back. So then, firstly, David Tennant gets confirmed to come back. Then Catherine Tate gets confirmed to come back. Then like the director gets confirmed. Then another character gets confirmed, and it just everything falls into place. It's like, well, okay, that leak was actually real then. So yeah. So what happens is 13 regenerates apparently on a cliff top into David Tennant, who is like either 14 or like a weird mid incarnation. It's not 10. It's not 10, but there are 3 specials throughout 2023 where it's him trying to work out why he's got 10's face again. So I mean,
there are going to be 3 specials.
3 specials. With the first to be directed by Rachel Talalay.
No.
Yep, she is back.
No.
Yep.
No way.
She was spotted on set on like the first day of filming, and she tweeted out like, "No, I wasn't directing today." And then like the day after, she was like, "Well, I wasn't lying. I said I wasn't directing today." So yeah, so she's back. And
that's interesting because I thought she was like a Moffat staple.
That's the thing, yeah.
So,
but obviously, I guess her work was so obviously loved by fans. Like, hands down, my favorite Doctor Who director, and clearly Davis knew that as well. So he's brought her in. So yeah, so I guess it's a Tennant 2, or no, Tennant 3 as we'll call him because of the Meta Crisis Doctor. So now there's 3 versions of the Doctor with David Tennant's face.
Meta Crisis Doctor.
Yeah, so you know how he became a human in Series 4.
Oh, that one, right?
So
okay,
so there's technically now 3 David Tennant Doctors out there. So he regenerates from 13, which we already can guess what the ending of the Centenary is going to be. She regenerates into him. He looks in like a puddle or something and goes, "What?
Okay.
And everyone's going to be like, "No."
That is so bizarre, man.
It's so going to happen. But so then he lands on Earth and comes across Catherine Tate as Donna. And yeah, so it's obviously, I guess part of it is him trying to find a way to either fix Donna's memories or like maybe because he's technically a new regeneration, it will be fine. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, he sees her and she now has a daughter named Rose, played by, what's her name? She was officially confirmed to be playing a character called Rose, but it wasn't confirmed that she's going to be Donna's daughter. But that was in the leak, which was 3 weeks before the character of Rose got unveiled. Who's it being played by? It was someone, there was a casting call like a year ago, casting for a character named Lily. And now you look back at it, and it's like that was just them covering up that they were casting for Rose. Yasmin Finney, she was in, I think, Heartstopper. It was a Netflix thing, I think.
Right.
So
okay.
yeah, so she's going to be playing Donna's daughter with, is it Sean or whatever his name is from The End of Time. So, and then you got Sylvia's back, Wilf's back.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
I heard about Wilf.
Yeah.
I heard about Wilf, but
I think that was one where it's like they probably should have just announced that in advance, because the moment it got seen on set, like no one was like trying to hide that from anyone else. They're like, well, Wilf's back, we're gonna all talk about that. So I think it was literally trending on Twitter that day. I think Wilf was trending on Twitter.
Okay. Well, so I'm just trying to get my head around the process of information delivery with all of this, because you're painting me such a specific picture for a setup for episodes that obviously have been written and are being produced at this time. Like, whereas I was under the impression that they were going to be just keeping everything like that we wouldn't get an episode until late 23. But you're now telling me that there's going to be 3 specials. Are they going to be at the end, or do you not know when?
We don't know when. There was like a lot of people were speculating that the first one is going to be tied into Christmas in some way, but that those are iffy kind of speculation, because it was just based on some lights in a shot, so that's not confirmed yet. But yeah, if they're filming it now, like at least the first one, I would speculate that would be early next year, because they would have a long time between that being filmed and it coming out. And since it's like 3 specials across the year, it could be that they have plenty of time between them, so it could be broken up. One of the last things I was going to say was that David Tennant has a new outfit, and a new sonic screwdriver, I guess, to differentiate him from being 10 again.
Right.
So they're trying to, like, he's still got the same, like, hair, he's not got the beard, and apparently he's still speaking in the same, like, 10's accent, so he's not using his natural Scottish accent or anything anymore. So I guess they're trying to find a weird way of keeping it, like, oh, this is weird, while also being like, it's definitely not 10 being back, it's a new one just with 10's face. So he's got like a blue overcoat thing, and like the sonic screwdriver is really weird looking. It's like kind of his, like the 10th Doctor's with like a bit on the top, kind of like just an added bit, which kind of makes it look like a blend between the 10th Doctor's and the 11th Doctor's in a way. It kind of it looks weird. We haven't got like a proper good look at it yet, just fan renders based on blurry photos. But yeah, so all this stuff about Tennant coming back and Catherine Tate coming back and Rose and Rachel Talale was all in a random Reddit comment from like 4 weeks ago or something, as we're recording this. And obviously at the time, no one would have ever thought about it, because, you know, people come up with these stupid fake leaks all the time. But then it's like looking back at it, how much stuff from that leak has now been confirmed, that makes it think, okay, well, this leak surely has to be right, because it would have been one hell of a lucky guess to get all of that stuff right.
Yeah. I wonder how that kind of thing gets into the hands of random Reddit commenters like, in the first place.
So the person said it was like it was their friend. I think their friend works for Bad Wolf, so their friend clearly was telling them about what's happening, and then they decided, I'm going to post this on Reddit and potentially get my friend fired. So
well, that's the thing, isn't it? If he signed an NDA, he's fucked.
Yeah. So but an interesting thing is that I wouldn't put it past Russell T Davies to orchestrate this all as some sort of clever distraction from what they're actually doing. So it could be that they're filming David Tennant and Catherine Tate in the middle of Camden where everyone can see them. Meanwhile, they've snuck Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi through the back door in Bad Wolf Studios, and they're filming stuff with them instead. So it genuinely could be that case, but I think that's probably a bit too like overthinking it.
Okay.
See, we all know that Eccleston will never come back anyway, so he's always off the table in these things.
Well, can you imagine if he did, though?
I mean, that would be hype, but I think a lot of people who think he's going to come back now that Russell T Davies is back kind of don't realise that Russell T Davies was part of the problem of why he never wanted to, why he left in the first place, was because they used to be good friends and worked together a lot, but then whatever happened behind the scenes completely destroyed that friendship, and now Eccleston hates Davies, so...
It was probably a very... I seem to remember him citing the work environment as well as being kind of toxic.
You've got multiple of the same producers are back now for the new Davies era, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
so
I
think
more names have been named.
I mean, this was a while ago. They confirmed. I think it was Phil Collinson who was one of the main, I think, executive producers of the original Davies era. He's back. Then you've got Jane Tranter and Julie Gardner, because obviously they are higher ups in Bad Wolf. So you got those lot back, and they're kind of like the main core from the first Davies era. So obviously it's been 15 odd years now, but you never know whether they might repeat the same mistakes.
That's crazy to think that it was that long ago.
It was. It's weird. It's been 12 years since they left.
Yeah. You know, I'm now thinking that for the... I'm lost for fucking words.
It's baffling, isn't it? It doesn't seem real. It seems like some sort of fake.
It sounds like fan fiction.
Yeah, but it's basically. I mean, at least Tennant and those other characters are confirmed. I don't know about the story itself, but it's wild, isn't it?
It's peculiar to say the least.
Yeah,
because we were all thinking that it would be pretty, for lack of a better term, shite if David Tennant just came back and they were like, just deal with it.
I saw a few people speculating that's why they announced, I forget his name, the new Doctor we're talking about.
Oh, Ncuti Gatwa,
some people speculating that's why they announced him so early, because then a lot of people would be like, oh no, David Tennant's the next Doctor full time. So they probably announced him first to then say no, don't worry, David Tennant isn't a permanent, he's not coming back permanently, it's only for a couple of episodes.
Soften the blow. Yeah. Okay.
That could be why they did that, which it makes sense to me, because obviously it was very early to announce the next Doctor, especially if they're not filming with him yet. But,
it will be really... That would be the twist of the century when the final Chibnall episode comes out and the regeneration does not end up being, Gatwa. We're all gonna be... It's gonna be so jarring,
exactly,
I imagine.
Yeah. A lot of people are gonna be very confused.
Yeah.
And it's I forgot to say, one last thing that's corroborating the whole leak and stuff is the TARDIS in all the set filming is 13's TARDIS, not 10's. So that kind of further proves it's okay, well, this is clearly taking place after the Centenary chronologically. It's not a previous adventure for 10. So I think it's all but confirmed that when 13 regenerates, she will become David Tennant.
Okay. I keep forgetting that the TARDIS has got different, very subtly different designs is it with every Doctor?
Not all of them. Usually it's by showrunner. So obviously 9 and 10 had pretty much the same TARDIS look, and then I think 11 changed it. I think 12 had the same TARDIS as 11 on the outside, but yeah, they only change the outside prop every now and then, and usually they just keep it consistent with the showrunners.
I remember they keep the TARDIS quite sparkling and clean with the Smith episodes. Yeah. It was quite battered and for some reason I want to say wooden with Eccleston and Tennant.
I guess I know what you mean. You could see the finish more popular. You could see, when you got a bit of wood, you can see the marks and everything. I don't know what you call them. There's probably a term for it, where it's like the semicircles and the weird lines and all that. You could see that. But with Smith, like that was all painted over. So it had a very much, it looks new.
Yeah. Well, literally with the episode that I'm in the thick of reviewing, Angels Take Manhattan, there's there's literally a bit like the TARDIS just for whatever reason gets like the bottom of it gets covered in crap, and then like by the end, before before Amy and Rory get zapped, the episode has been out for 10 years. By the way,
you spoiled it for
me. River and the Doctor are literally cleaning it. I can't imagine it being dirty or scratched for more than a minute.
It's like in Day of the Doctor where they show the War Doctor's TARDIS, and that's like the Ninth Doctor's TARDIS, but really all just completely like a wreck, and it's got marks all over it and like scratches everywhere.
Yeah,
it's like it's been dented by a card scraping by it. We can talk about the Centenary a little bit, I guess. Now that we know what's coming after.
I think I'm now trying to deny it. It's like the stages of grief.
Yeah,
I'm trying to deny that this is real. I'm thinking how and when in his was it like 4 or 5 years as the 10th Doctor? When did he go out of his way to meet his future regeneration? It doesn't I can't see that as being something that would, because they've already done it with the 50th. Having him just appear as a side character in effect doesn't quite have the same. It feels almost uninspired to do that. So I can see why him coming back as the sort of temporary regeneration.
Yeah, I guess it's do we call him 14 or do we call him 14.5?
Well, 13.5, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, 13.5, yeah. It's like what is he classed as? Is he gonna have a nickname? Like we get the Fugitive Doctor and the War Doctor. Is he gonna be the Flashback Doctor?
I can't believe I'm still gutted how they threw the Fugitive Doctor completely at the wall, man.
Not even gonna probably get much time in the Centenary, I don't think.
If at all.
No. It's I think the comic series is basically being made to show everything going on with her and all her origins and everything. But I feel like that's kind of something we needed to see on screen and not relegated to comics.
I know.
So I guess what we have to now talk about is, do we think this whole Tennant gamble, I guess, is good for the show in the long run?
I think... go on. You elaborate your question, because it felt like you had more to ask.
I was just going to say, it's because I think in the short term, it's a good idea because it will get everyone back into watching it. But in the long term, will it show that they don't believe the show can do well without David Tennant?
Well, I think the show was doing all right when Smith was on, though, right?
Yeah, but it's more one of those things where it's like we've had the 10th Doctor has really overshadowed the 13th Doctor in terms of he's had loads of comics and stuff coming out instead of the 13th Doctor.
You mean outside of the main show?
Well, I just mean in general, because it's you see the stuff and it's obviously I wouldn't say the 13th Doctor has been undeservedly overshadowed, because the on-screen material has been so weak that it therefore allows other Doctors to completely blow 13 out of the water. But it's more just kind of the precedent it sets of well, the show needed an injection, so we're going to just turn to Russell T Davies and David Tennant again, rather than trying to start with something new.
Yeah, it feels really greasy of them to do that. But at the same time, I feel like it's the way you're describing it to me, it sounds like a transitionary story. Yeah,
exactly. That's the upside of it.
As opposed to it being a permanent fixture.
Yeah, because I guess if it was a whole series, then it would be okay, I'm not sure this is going to help the show in the long run. But for 3 specials, gearing up, because I guess we don't even know whether that's 3 specials including the 60th or 3 specials before the 60th, We don't know that for sure yet. But like, because it's only 3, I think that will get people back into the show to then be ready for the next era with the next Doctor. So I think, yeah, I guess it will work, but it's just kind of
it doesn't sit right with me whatsoever. But at the same time, from a marketing point of view,
exactly, yeah,
it's gold
because so many people are already talking about it again. It's completely like no one cares about the Centenary anymore. Everyone's already caring more about all of this stuff.
Right. So words are now becoming a bit like peculiar to me. Yep. So when you say Centenary, are you talking about Chibnall's final episode?
Sorry. Yes. So that's the BBC's Centenary special, because this year it's been 100 years since the BBC was created. Or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm now right. I'm on the same page now, because
a lot of people are confused, because obviously when you say Centenary special, people think, well, Doctor hasn't been around for 100 years. What?
Yeah. Well, it was more that like I didn't know if this was going to be a full-on like celebration going beyond 2022, but
because it would be helpful if we were told a name for this episode, so then we could refer to it as its name instead. But we haven't. It'll probably get announced like the day before it airs.
I'm just thinking about how badly timed it is that the BBC's 100th anniversary has one of the worst showrunners at the helm to write this episode. It's probably going to be a case of it being remembered purely for the final scene. I can't imagine these two companions, is Ace and Tegan, coming back. I can't imagine that they're going to pull out many fireworks.
Oh, because that's the thing. So even them being in the episode is already questionable, because Tegan left the TARDIS after a Dalek story where she was basically like, well, life with the Doctor is horrible. I don't want to do this anymore because people just die. And it's basically traumatized me, so I'm leaving forever. Like I hate this lifestyle now. So it was like a big character moment.
She comes along,
and she comes back with a gun and is ready to shoot people. And it's like, what? And then Ace is like in the trailer. She's like, oh, it's been like 30 years since I last saw the Doctor. When literally the actor that plays Ace wrote an official 13th Doctor book where the 13th Doctor meets Ace in modern day.
What?
So it's like they're already just like, that's already going to waste. Like they literally licensed this book and are now completely ignoring it and basically throwing it in the bin. It literally only came out like 2 years ago or something like that.
Oh my god. I've seen the final 7th Doctor episode. It's called Survival, isn't it?
Yeah.
However many years and years ago, but like I can't exactly say I remember. They just walk off, don't they? They literally
because they
just
didn't
walk
know the
off.
show was going to end that soon, so they had everything planned for the next season where Ace was going to like become a Time Lord and everything. Like she was going to start, and they were going to do all this crazy stuff. But then they cancelled the show, so they just had this open-ended conclusion, which I think is a perfect way to end Doctor if you're ever going to do it. Just have it open-ended. Don't say like, right, the Doctor's dead now, that's the end, bye. Just be like, well, someone might come along in 20 years and bring it back, you never know, so we'll just leave it open. But yeah, so bringing Ace and Tegan back, it's like, out of all the companions, they're two of the weirdest ones to bring back.
I don't know if they were just like Chibnall's pet favourites when he was a kid or something.
That would line up, because obviously he was watching the show around like the 5th, 6th, 7th Doctor time when he was growing up. Like there's that infamous clip of him in the 80s on that show where he's like,
could have been better.
Could have been better. Which, part of me does feel bad everyone is always referencing that, because when you're like 16 years old, when you're 40 odd years later, you're not going to be hold the exact
you're
same
not the same person. No,
but it's still a funny clip just to be able to point it back.
It's just the ultimate irony. That's all it is.
But it's like so Ace makes sense to bring back. It's just the way they're doing it doesn't make sense. But Tegan doesn't make sense at all because of why she left in the first place, and how now they're having a running around with a gun. So, and obviously, yes, then the Untitled Centenary Special, as it's currently known as, has like everyone from Flux coming back, and it's got it hasn't been confirmed, but what's his name? Graham has been sighted on set when they were filming that, talking to John Bishop. So it looks like Graham's going to be coming back.
Bradley Walsh.
Yeah. So Bradley Walsh is likely coming back for a scene or two in that, and it's just this like there's like 50 different enemies. It's like, what is this episode going to be?
It's literally gonna be like, I imagine it's gonna be like the Flux finale, where the enemies will have like one shot. There'll be a massive load of CGI ships, and then the Doctor will snap her fingers, and then they'll just disappear again.
It's like and obviously you got the Master coming back as well. It's like, how is all this stuff supposed to fit into one? Like, I think it's supposed to be like an hour, or like an hour and I think it's like maybe 70 or 90 minutes long, but even still, how are you going to fit it all into that?
Well, I am connivingly excited for the final
like, that's
episode.
The thing. That's what I'm going to miss about the Chibnall era, is that you're always going to be in for a train wreck at the very least.
A train wreck on top of a train wreck for the finales.
And it's like, it's spectacular to look at and rip apart, so it's fun. Like, it's fun for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Except Legend of the Sea Devils, that was just mind-numbingly dull.
So my understanding is that nobody liked it, right?
Nobody. The weirdest thing, right, is from what I've heard, that was actually going to be 13's final episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the Centenary Special, I think, was commissioned after the fact, so they hadn't accounted for that. So that's now, I don't know whether, I'm not sure how it all works. They had another one commissioned. It might have been Legend of the Sea Devils, but yeah, so they might have had Legend of the Sea Devils as her regeneration story, which is like, what would happen? Like, would she just trip over and drown off the side of a boat or something?
I think that she would skim the stone, it would bounce back and hit her in the head, and that would be it.
It's just, it baffles me. Like, it doesn't seem like there's been any planning in this Chibnall era, because I think Chibnall himself recently admitted that he was ready to leave after Series 12 or something, but like no one else was going to take the job, so he had to continue. Right.
Okay. Well, I imagine that at that point as well, though. I mean, the trouble is trying to have X-ray vision into the whole production process, where it was, especially for the most recent series, which was plagued by COVID, as so evidenced by the episodes themselves.
Where there's conveniently like some people there's like 6 people on screen in like all spaced apart easily. It's like,
that and all of the like location hopping when it's using like library footage, and then suddenly they're like on a mock-up set for like 10 seconds on the Great Wall.
I think because obviously they weren't even planning on doing that. That was like I think they had the episode count slashed, and then COVID all happened, so they decided to make Flux like a 6-part, no, it's 8-part actually. I can't remember how many parts it is. I think it's 8 parts. Like a specific.
It's 6 parts, my dude. I'm so happy it's not 8.
Yeah. I was like, I can't even. It's basically 8 though, when you consider that, like, this Centenary Special is going to be like the finale of it, because they're bringing everyone back. But it's just, so that was originally going to be just a normal series, like Series 12. Then they had the episode count slashed and all that. And that's where Legend of the Sea Devils comes from, I think. I think that was originally just going to be a regular Series 13 episode. So then they just repurposed that into a finale. No, not a finale, a special. So I think that's what it was. I think that was the extra special they commissioned. So they just right, what's like our most complete script from the original Series 13? That one, all right, cool, go for it. We'll just cobble that one together and put it out. Because I think Chibnall wrote it in like not even 2 weeks. I think it was like a week or something, like the same as Eve of the Daleks. He wrote it in like 2 weeks.
Really? Yeah. Is this did he tell?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure in an interview he actually admitted. Yeah, it took him like a week or two to write.
Okay.
Just like how he recently admitted that the Series 11 finale was only a first draft. All those jokes about Chibnall being a first draft writer were actually true. His Series 11 finale was legitimately a first draft because he was too busy like helping out everyone else with their scripts. So he got to the finale and was like, "Oh no, I don't have any time."
It always did struck me as kind of odd that whenever you saw like written by somebody and Chris Chibnall.
I guess it turns out they were all just either terrible or not getting things right, so he had to go in and do all their work for them.
Yeah, I know. It seems it is just bizarre. I end up wondering in the cynical 2022 fashion if the Sea Devils episode was like a China appeasement episode.
That's the thing. So, but because it's a very complicated situation. I've done some reading into this because obviously I thought the same when it was first rumored that it was going to be about Chinese pirates, and there was apparently controversy when they were filming. Like they got in trouble with China over something. We still don't know what it was, but China has a very complicated history with time travel media. For a long time, it was banned outright. You couldn't make any time travel media.
All right.
I guess because of certain things in their past that they don't want to give people the impression that you can change the past. So
like the famines.
And the fact nothing ever happened in Tiananmen Square that one day.
Oh yeah.
So yes, they initially outright banned time travel media, but then they had a big marquee deal with Doctor Who, where they had first right of refusal.
I thought it was the right of refusal thing
to everything up to Series 15, I think it was. And they had this big marketing push in China. Like I remember seeing at the time, they kept posting these like artworks of like the TARDIS in China and stuff on like the Doctor Who social media and stuff to be like, we're basically trying to break into China now. And so that was a while ago now. And then you get to this, where it's like, okay, so they have this deal with China, where China can outright refuse, like, well, not China itself. It's like it was like the leading Chinese broadcast or something had first right of refusal on Doctor Who in China, and if they refused, then another company would be able to take it. So it's like they had this deal with one of the main Chinese broadcasters, and then they decide to set an episode in China centering around a Chinese figure. But the thing is, I think she's quite a controversial figure in China.
Are you talking about Madam Ching, the Pirate Queen? Okay, because obviously she's not exactly a black and white character, from what I read about her.
Oh, did you see her? I saw it on Wikipedia, but like when her husband died, she started banging
his adopted son.
Yeah, or something weird like that. Yeah. It's just like, oh, okay.
That's what I mean. It was both disheartening to see that they wouldn't actually explore her character as a historic figure, but they also would just get things flat out wrong.
Yeah, because it's like suddenly, her massive pirate fleet. Oh yeah, they just vanished off screen randomly.
And they've also kidnapped her children. What? The people that she's supposed to be in charge of.
Yeah, it's just weird. It was such a mess. I suggested that they got in trouble for the Thasmin stuff because China doesn't like gay people. So I suggested in my review that, and a lot of people in the comments pointed out that no, in China the actual historical figure is quite polarizing. A lot, like I don't think the government likes her a lot for. I'm not exactly sure the reasons. But I think it might have been to do with that subject material instead that they got in trouble for. But yeah,
okay.
Because sorry, yeah, no.
I wanted to just chip in because I thought about like how lukewarm the relationship between Yaz and the Doctor is.
Yeah.
And
they got one episode to pay that off.
Well, this is it. If China has such a well, I don't see it myself, but it might be the case just because of our you hear every other story about Western media being put on in China, and they'll cut out characters from posters.
They'll cut out, black characters or gay scenes.
All of that, and I just wonder if them kind of just tiptoeing around the subject is because of China, or if it's just bad writing. I honestly can't tell. That's the thing.
You can't tell with Chibnall. You just can't tell if it's writing. Although that does bring me back. I wonder what they're going to do for Series 14 onwards in the marketing in China, now that we have a Black Doctor as the main one. Obviously, Fugitive Doctor was always like a side character. So it's like you'd understand why she wouldn't be in marketing material as much. But now we have like the main Doctor is black. Yep. What is that going to mean for China? Because we've seen what they did with like Finn from Star Wars, where they made him from one of the main people on the poster to like he's literally tucked away in the corner with like 2 pixels to his name.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So that'll be interesting to see. I don't know how they're going to do so much in 13's final episode, because they got to sort out that stuff with Thasmin, which they've tiptoed around and sat on the fence even up to this point. Even in Legend of the Sea Devils, it's like they didn't commit to any part of it. They were like, Yasmin's like, I love you, and 13 was like, oh, I love you too, but no thanks.
But I have commitment issues, lol.
It's like, is that meant to be the big payoff to that, or like is it leading to something else? It just feels weird. They barely did anything for Thasmin, and now we got the final episode where you got to have the Doctor regenerate, deal with all these like returning characters, deal with the returning monsters, write Dan and Yaz out as well. And it's like, I just don't see how they're going to do it. It's like they can barely do it in a full series like Flux. Mm-hmm. Let alone one special.
Just to tie a knot on the Sea Devils thing, I think if it wasn't in like my idyllic like Doctor Who scenario of historic Asia, I probably would have given it a 0. Like even putting that against Orphan 55, at least that has point A to point B.
They tried something. They tried something with a new setting, but that was all that was going for it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Back to the Centenary itinerary.
Yeah. It's like, how are they going to do that all? And then, they're going to go through all that effort just for the last 5 minutes to completely overshadow it. Like the trailer for the Centenary overshadowed the entirety of Legend of the Sea Devils. Because that's all people ever talked about after the episode was the trailer for the next one.
Yeah. I wonder if I should get a whole bunch of people over who have either never seen Doctor Who before or gave up during Smith's era, and to be like, just watch this. This is going to be the episode of the century. And I'll kind of preface it and be like, you don't need to watch anything that happened before. And then they'll get so confused, just like everyone else is.
It's going to be a nightmare. And then everyone's going to be like, wait, why is David Tennant back?
Oh my God, yeah, exactly. That'll be the bait and switch.
It's going to be event television, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And weirdly as well, it's like I feel like I've been waiting for this kind of hype for far too long for the show. Like even if I'm precarious about it, it's still going to be, like you say, it'll bring people back to watch it again.
I guess, and also one thing, I guess this is like a semi-exclusive scoop because I haven't seen it discussed anywhere else. It's just conjecture. Well, I mean, so it's like there's been some speculation of it, but I feel like I can actually confirm it exclusively based on what I've heard from, and I'm gonna say a friend of a friend of a friend, but I can corroborate the source. I can actually corroborate the source, and they said a week or so before we recorded this that their friend who is working as part of the BBC of all this said like, oh, a certain show is coming back, and then during filming the other day Russell T Davies was spotted talking directly to a camera, which makes me feel like Doctor Who Confidential is going to be coming back.
Which
would be hype. as I said, obviously I haven't got a direct one-to-one source here. It is the classic, a friend of a friend of a friend. But this is a friend who, is a good friend of mine, and their friend has always been going on about all this stuff constantly, even before this, constantly talking about stuff about Doctor Who. So they do have links to the show in production, which, so hopefully we do get Confidential back.
Oh, that has just got me beaming, dude. The nostalgia is absolutely flowing through me.
I loved Confidential so much growing up.
It's just so, it just comparing it to what has transpired over the last 4 years, where everything is hush hush.
Exactly. It's like
everything behind the scenes is like the cast and crew playing stupid
like what's
games.
In the box.
That's
all we're
it's
getting.
Just not interesting whatsoever.
And it's just, I feel like, because you've got BBC Three coming back, which is where Doctor Who Confidential was before, and that would be a marquee show for them to have.
As in coming back to broadcast TV?
Yeah, it's been back a little while now. It's so it's online and on broadcast TV as well.
Oh, I thought that they had made it exclusively on iPlayer.
They did that for a bit, but I think it was this past year they've brought it back to broadcast TV now. Okay. It's still like how it used to be, where it's like most of the day it's like deactivated and it comes on at like 4 in the afternoon or whatever it is, like late in the day, because they don't have programming to constantly show on it. But I feel like that would get people to go to the channel, because it's like, hey, Doctor Who Confidential is back, because that's where it was before.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So that should be
where they
fun.
put all the replays as well. If you missed it, you could watch it on BBC Three on the Sunday.
Except now you've got iPlayer, they have less need to do that. But I'm hyped for that, because it just feels like we know nothing about the Chibnall era. We never see anything about it. It's way too hush-hush. And it's like they'll keep everything secret that doesn't even need to be kept secret. Like, they'll go on about like, oh, we can't tell you anything that's happening here. Or like, oh, we've got some real great surprises lined up for this episode. And then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rusty Davis is like, yeah, David Tennant and Catherine Tate coming back. Yeah, Wilf's coming back. Yeah. And then that's still not even going to be the most surprising thing about it.
That's the power of marketing, isn't it? I feel like that's the money is just not there for it at the moment.
Yeah.
But hopefully that will change.
And he has been known to straight up lie about things, like before series 3 he said, like, I have no interest in bringing the Master back, I don't care about the character. And then he goes and brings the Master back.
Wait, sorry, you're talking about Davies or Chibnall?
Davis, sorry, in series 3. I was saying before that he said, I have no interest in bringing the Master back, he's not in my plans at all. And then he comes back in the series 3 finale. So Davis has been known to intentionally, whilst still hyping up the show by giving away plenty of surprises and twists ahead of time, he has also made sure to mislead people to keep excitement high. So I'm still thinking there's going to be a lot of twists and turns to come that we won't know about until we watch the episode.
A master of manipulation, indeed. Now, here comes the real question. After all of that, that hour of information dump, do I now tune into everything else that may or may not be the case for the next year and a half, or do I go back to living under my rock?
That's the thing. I'm not, because I suppose this one was the change because you needed to be informed for this video, but then I guess if you're not planning on covering it,
I'm not doing it as an I'm not Faries. I'm not going to make a bloody video about every single thing.
I respect the grind. I could never do that every day.
I don't mean to cast shade on a fellow YouTuber, but that man is mad. That man is mad.
But it's I feel like because initially you wanted to stay under the rock and be surprised, so I'd probably say go back under your rock. Where I feel like where you're like me and you see these leaks, I saw the leak that basically gave away the entirety of series 12, so it was like, oh, okay. I know exactly what's going to happen. And it's less of a surprise and more of like you find it crazy when it's confirmed. You're like, oh my god, that was real after all. So I feel like it does devalue the experience in a way. So unless you're really intent on knowing everything going in for like work purposes, then I'd say stick to what you're doing. Because I mean, at this point we're recording this, and it's probably going to go up, I imagine, before we find out anything new. Everything will be up to date, so it's not like you'll be spoiled by comments or anything.
No.
So so I'd say you should be fine avoiding stuff. Just stay off Twitter.
If the BBC has anything further to say,
exactly,
I'm sure we'll make another conversation like this, because we're just that thirsty for confirmation of anything these days.
It's like, because I think going forward, it's like only acknowledge the stuff that the BBC has officially confirmed themselves, because that's the stuff it's like the BBC's confirmed it. It's not like you can say like, oh well, how was I supposed to know, and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly.
Whereas I think it's just make sure you tell your Discord, because they will talk about it.
Yeah.
Mine do.
Tell my Discord that I'm going back under a rock.
Yeah.
All right. Hey Discord, I'm going back under my rock. The end.
Yep. There we go.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, I think we have come to a very natural conclusion there. It has been a very special occasion.
Yeah. I'm glad I had the privilege of telling you all of these wonderful things to expect.
Yeah. And now the sunlight is just getting a bit too bright for me. I'm going to have to go back down now.
I guess, as usual, it's like, what is it? The comments suggest if like they want us to do another classic story or whatever.
You can do, but you still got to be waiting on the war games. That
will come one day.
That will come one day. Yeah.
Which I think that was a really fun discussion as well. So.
I've not even looked at it. It's just been sat there as an MP3. Is it MP3? No, it's WAV. It's WAV. It's been sat there alongside a multiple gigabytes worth of me sitting and watching it.
That could have gone very weird. That could have gone very differently.
Yeah, certainly could have done. I now am seeing that. Thank you. Until next time.